And the other reason for sharing this with you is the taking notes, right? And honestly, there is not a perfect solution. Taking notes is a very personal thing, you know. What is easier for you, like I use a lot of arrows when I take notes. Somehow it helps me organize my ideas. I also try to make words shorter, and I tend to not have full sentences, right? It's mainly keywords and a couple verbs and things like that. But again, I honestly think it's practice for yourself, right? You need to see what is easier for you. So I'll show you how Matt took notes, and then how I took notes, and how I answered the questions. So if you look, page 5, actually, sorry, the answers were right there. I don't know if you noticed, but they're right there. If you look at Matthew's notes, and literally this is what we did. We watched the Pecha Kucha together. We took notes while we watched it. And then I took his notes and I typed them, right? So I didn't try to make it beautiful or perfect. I just typed what he wrote, right? And so for me, what was interesting, and maybe something to think about also for yourself, because Matthew speaks Japanese, he uses kanji, right? Like for Japan, it's much faster to do, you know, the first kanji for Japan than actually write Japan. I write GPA for Japan for the abbreviation, but still it's more than that. So I thought it was kind of cool, you know, when you can use 2 scripts. It's a pretty good one. He has lots of keywords. Here he does have a bit of a sentence, and he kind of underlined what was the most important for him, right? Like the be yourself. He had notes that we didn't use for question, like the fact that Mana checked 300 people in a restaurant. I don't know if you imagine what it's like, 300 people. But he has kind of 2 paragraphs also, right? The beginning, kind of her introduction, and then more of her main content. As far as I'm concerned, you can see my notes here on the side. I use also capital letters, you know, to make you know, things clearer. Like there is a but, what she learned, so not what I did, but what I learned. So the but is a big one because it's the important thing for me. And I use a lot of plus for and, equal for is, and another few other examples that I can show you. As I said, I use arrows, right? So for instance, this arrow means because for me, right? And this arrow, this specific one, right, means it's the consequence, right? So let's say I want to say that he's tired because he studied late, and because of that, he failed the test, right? So if I would write it taking notes, whoops. Right, so that would be my thing. And just by looking at the arrows, I have no problems understanding what I mean by that. The other thing also, I realized that I do a lot. Words like communication. Instead of writing the I-O-N at the end, I just make a little circle. And I know it's I-O-N, right, at the end. Content. This, like the ENT, I just do it this way. I just write a little T at the end. So for me, it's always a speed competition, right? Trying to keep listening to people while writing it down. So it's usually suddenly I need to make things shorter. And I don't have Japanese, right? Just the kanji to do it, which might actually be faster than writing the words. So I have to come up with these little, how can I say, tricks, right, to make words shorter. So think about it when you have to take notes, right? What could be easier for you to be able to take more notes more quickly? So yeah, so you see my notes on the side, so the equals, the plus signs. And what I also wanted to explain to you is this one, the summary. So keep in mind, right, the Cornell note-taking system was invented for American university students. And if you studied in the US or in an English-speaking country, you know how intense classes can be. And on top of it, you usually have the class more than once a week. So very quickly, you get a lot of content. So what they were trying to do is help students remember quickly what they had studied, let's say on Monday, on Wednesday, and then on Friday, right? So the students would take notes, separated in two, and then on Monday, they would write a short summary. It can be keywords, it can be sentences, something that by just reading this part, they could remember the content of the course. Maybe not all the details, but like the general idea, and then go like, oh yeah, and then there was this, and then there was that, and kind of go backward. So that when they have a final, they can review quickly by reading the summaries of their notes, and when they realize, hey, wait, I'm not remembering this correctly, then look at their notes in detail, right? So what I'm trying to say is, what I want you to understand for the summary is choose keywords, write sentences that are going to help you remember the Pechakucha without having to reread everything, right? So what can you write down there that is going to help you do this? What I wrote was, Mana experienced some challenging situations during her internship in Hawaii, but thanks to the aloha spirit, she found a way to overcome them by being herself and doing her best. And honestly, when I see this, because I do the test, like at the beginning when I start preparing for the semester, I read that and I'm like, and she said that, and also she mentioned that, and that was kind of funny. So like things come back to me, like my memory kicks back in, right? So that's the idea of the summary, right? Help you remember things without having to look at all the details of your notes and answers. And so, as I said, so this was kind of to go again with the flipped activities, right? So if you look for next week, it's on the flipped activities are here, right? No more printing. It's written at the top corner right side. Flipped activities for week 2. So you will have one with the Cornell system, page 9, and then page 10, right? 9 and 10, it's right there. So you can see this. So the website, sorry, I couldn't remember what I wanted to tell you, is right there, right? Page 3 at the top. Oh, and by the way, my name is Sophie. So I am your teacher, right? Matthew is downstairs, 4th floor. So the website is right here. You will see OC, oral communication. Actually, it's written oral communication. Click on this, and then you're going to see oral communication 5, oral communication 6. We are 6, right? This semester, it's written fall semester, and you can access this. And we've seen it already, but yeah, basically you have flipped activities every week, and I really try to make them short, right? I don't want it to be too much, so that you have content to discuss in class, and then I can add information to what you have just studied. So that's why I wanted to review the note-taking system. This is what the website looks like, by the way. I haven't changed the picture because now it's fall again. So it's the right beautiful flower. And so what I'd like us to do is take some time to look at what we're going to do this semester. And basically, it is page number 6. I want to first explain to you why I chose, well, why we chose this picture, right, for your student card and for the booklet, right, the front of the booklet. For us, it's exactly what we want you to do during the class. And so the first one, the question mark is wonder. If you were here in the first semester, the first 2 weeks, we talked about the fact that nowadays people don't like to know, don't like to not know, right? That feeling of I don't know feels not so positive. But I honestly believe it is a good thing, because if you don't know, then you can think about it, right? So that's why we have the question mark for wonder, and this is how I died. And then think, right? So the brain working, and with the flipped activity, you will think alone, right? You'll be well, I mean, unless you do with people, but that's up to you, actually. You do what you want. And then in class, you can discuss it, right? So then you get a chance to hear others' ideas and what they think about it. And hopefully this will help you have ideas, right, for your future, for a presentation, for your own pleasure, and gain new knowledge, right? Have more that you can tell people, yes, I know this, I've studied it, right? So that's really the goal, right, of what we're doing this semester with the topics we're going to study. And we chose one theme for this semester. It's human rights. And the reason is both Matthew and I are really, really concerned about human rights. And there are so many things that you can do to make it better, and simple things, right? So it's kind of it's an important topic, but with little things you can really help make it better. So it's kind of a positive situation for us. So, human rights. What I'd like you to do is think, wonder first, and think. So you can do it, in pairs or groups, because some of you are, depending, however you want. The human rights are listed, right? So you have an official list of human rights in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is a document, This is a document that was written by the United Nations. And then almost every single country in the world signed it. So that means we will respect them. But you'll see, not really, actually. So that's why we want you to take time to think about it. So what human rights are listed in this Universal Declaration of Human Rights? And yes, it's here, so don't look at it if you want to really think about it. Hide it. Or simply put, and this is as simple, as human beings, right? We're all human beings. Right? Okay. What are your rights? That's really what it is all about, right? That's the question that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights answers. So take some time, think about it, then I'll write it up there, and then we can see what they are, really. Show you for us what we're going to do. So the first one that's missing is we are going to do education. That is our first topic for this semester. And the second one is environment. And this is connected to what we just saw, standards of living, right? The right to live in a clean environment. Health is connected to this, the standards of living as well. So two aspects of the same. And then, as you wrote there, freedom of opinion and expression. So congratulations. It is also something we will talk about. And this one might be a bit unusual, but it's the economic divide. So the division, right, that exists in today's society between the poor and the rich, and this economic divide. It's yours? I stole. How did that happen? That's funny. And so economic divide. I'll show you the rest after, okay? And working conditions, right? So I know slavery was abolished officially, but you will see that nowadays, modern day, now, you still have slavery. And the black baito situation in Japan is a form of slavery, right? I'll explain that to you. So it's not just in poor countries, we have the problem in developed countries as well. So, there you go, so that Kazu can see it. There you go. So I don't want to try to cram the rest, but actually you will see that we will have the same activity, but what I want you to do is look at, either here, the human rights per se, or what we're going to study within the human rights. What do you already know? Or what do you think about these topics, right? And the reason is, this is going to be the foundation, right? This is anything new that you're going to learn from now on is going to be built on this basis, what you already know, what you think, how you feel about it. So I think it's an important point to take a little bit of time to actually think about it. Okay, so what is it that I know, or how do I feel about this topic, right? Just to kind of do a little survey of your knowledge and feelings about the topic. So we don't really have time now because it's almost finished, but you'll see if you turn to page 8 for next week, you have like a close-up of education, and you have more details about what we're going to do for education. So, and we'll do it for each topic. So hopefully you'll spend time to think about this, right? Your preconceptions connected to education to end poverty and to have better human beings. So, and in Japan, in the US, for poverty and better human beings through curiosity and creativity and through reading. So when you see this, what is it that you know already? Or what is it that you think about it? Or how do you feel about it as well? So take a little bit and time to think about this, and next week we'll share it in class. And also for the flipped activities, you have page 9 and 10 to watch the 2 videos on the website, and then the reflection. Think about your skills. You're going to watch about being a good listener and a good speaker, so that you can have good group discussions. So what are you good at? What do you want to improve? Right, the 2 aspects. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.